President Biden, nearly 10 million illegal immigrants have entered our country. Now, among those 10 million are an unknown number of dangerous individuals. We know that hundreds of individuals appear on the terrorism watch list. We know that a significant number of transnational cartel members are in this population. Other categories include drug smugglers, human traffickers, and many more. There's a laundry list of bad actors who have no business stepping foot in our country. And sadly, it's not a surprise when we allow over 500,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records into the homeland that they commit crimes against American citizens. Even members of law enforcement, the very people entrusted with keeping us safe, are now on the front lines of the border crisis. And no, I'm not talking about police in border states like Texas or Arizona. I'm talking about North Carolina, my state. I'm talking about New York City. 2 years ago in my home state of North Carolina, Wake County Deputy Sheriff Ned Byrd was killed in the line of duty by an illegal alien gang member who crossed the border under President Biden. And just this week in Queens, New York, NYPD officers were shot while trying to apprehend a suspect in a string of robberies. And one was shot in the stomach and the other was shot in the leg. Now, thankfully, they're going to survive. And our prayers are with them and their families, and we're grateful for their service to our country. But the suspect was identified as a 19-year-old from Venezuela who crossed the border illegally through Eagle Pass, Texas in July of last year. Worse yet, he was caught and then he was released with a court date that he predictably ignored. So enough is enough. I'm back here on the Senate floor to once again try and pass a bill called the Police Act. It's a straightforward bill. The Police Act simply states that an alien can be deported for assaulting a police officer, a firefighter, or another first responder. And this bill has already passed the House, and it can be sent to the President's desk by passing it right here today. Pretty simple. But now, the last time I tried to pass this bill, a senator from Connecticut, he blocked it and he called it nothing. That's 100% wrong. Specifically, the Police Act, it amends the Immigration and Nationality Act to explicitly state that an illegal immigrant may be deported for assaulting a police officer. Now, it's important to point out that the current law does not cover all assaults against law enforcement. That means that some immigrants can remain in the country even after committing assaults against cops. And we know that under the Biden administration, that is a very real possibility, unfortunately. But the truth is that we cannot trust this administration to do the right thing or enforce the law and to keep our communities safe. That's why we need to pass the Police Act today. Any senator who claims to back the blue should have no problem at all supporting this bill. So I sincerely hope that in the face of yet another attack on police officers, that we could pass this bill today.
I don't disagree with my colleague from North Carolina. Of course, if someone commits an assault against a law enforcement officer, they should be deported from this country. If somebody commits an assault against a community member, regardless of their occupation, they should be deported from this country.
I appreciate my colleagues' comments. I believe them to be sincere. But let's not get lost in the swirl of eloquence here. I believe my colleague, he once said that illegal immigrants are undocumented Americans, direct quote, and that they are the people we care about the most, another direct quote. But I would submit that if you illegally enter the United States and then beat up a police officer, you are most certainly not an American. And the only thing that we should care about is that you're deported. Now, he said these laws can lead to deportation, but it's not necessary that they do, particularly under this administration. I'll refer to my prior remarks. There's been 500,000 of the illegal immigrants, 500,000, with criminal records that have come into the homeland, again, illegally. And it's no surprise that they commit crimes against Americans. So this bill, which he seems to support, I'm a little confused at his language. It seems like he might support this unanimous consent effort here because it's important because the current law does not cover all assaults against law enforcement. Deporting an illegal alien who assaults a law enforcement officer likely requires a complex legal analysis to prove that the illegal alien committed an aggravated felony or crime involving moral turpitude. It's not guaranteed that this process will even lead to deportation. So, the Police Act creates a simple, straightforward, common sense rule that says illegal aliens who assault cops are deportable, period, end of story. We saw it in North Carolina. We've recently seen it in New York City. And it could happen in a community near you. I yield the floor.